Effectively securing your organization and its reputation requires a smarter approach. To maximize efficiency and minimize risk, security experts turn to LogRhythm, the only leading solution built solely for security teams by a security team committed to your success. With next-gen SIEM, user and entity behavior analytics, network traffic and behavior analysis, security automation and orchestration, and compliance, LogRhythm provides security made smarter. The greatest threat to businesses today isn't the outsider trying to get in. It's the people you trust, the ones who already have the keys, your employees, your contractors, and privileged users. 60% of online attacks are carried out by insiders. To stop these insider threats, you need to see what users are doing before an incident occurs. Observit combats insider threats by detecting risk activity, investigating in minutes, effectively responding, and stopping data lost. Give it a test drive at observit.com/securityweekly. Today's determined attackers easily bypass even the most advanced network defenses. Trying to ramp up staff to detect their backdoors can cost thousands of dollars and take months, even years. With Active Countermeasures AI Hunter, we enable junior analysts to detect even the most advanced backdoors in a matter of hours. Sign up for a demo and purchase our product today by visiting activecountermeasures.com/ESW. Active Countermeasures. Make every analyst a hunter. Welcome back, everyone, to Enterprise Security Weekly. Quick announcement. We got a webcast coming up with Signal Sciences. Which way should you shift testing in the SDLC? Myself, Larry Pesci, and Zane Lackey. Well, that's a cast of I mean, you should just tune in. That's really all I need to say.
Just the names alone are just awesome.
Names alone. November 8th, 3 to 4 p.m. Eastern Time, securityweekly.com/Signal Sciences. Register today. Alrighty. So enterprise news, open source security management firm WhiteSource has raised $35 million, which is an awesome round for WhiteSource, and I think kind of is solidifying that space. Black Duck was acquired by Synopsys. You got Snyk, SNYNK.
I think that's how it's spelled.
Snyk, yeah, there's a Y in there. Sonatype is another one in there. There's a few players in that space. I think it's something that if you're writing your own software in your organization, it's kind of a no-brainer to have this technology, which is doing two things, right? Keeping tabs on vulnerabilities in open source software and making sure that you're licensing-wise, you're in good shape with all usage.
Well, it's not just licensing. Whenever you're writing software and you're incorporating and you're writing your own code, almost never do you just write your own code completely from scratch. You're incorporating in many situations lots and lots of open source libraries into your existing code that you are writing. So even though we talk with customers sometimes, oh no, we don't use any open source software. We write it all. When you talk to their developers and you're like, well, are you using any like open source JavaScript libraries? The developers get kind of sheepish and they're like, well, yeah, we're using all those libraries. And so you have open source software in your environment. You absolutely do. And you need to manage that.
Absolutely. Imperva was acquired by Thoma Bravo for $2.1 billion.
Crap.
That's a big acquisition. Thoma Bravo's been acquiring a lot of security companies lately. I don't remember which one. Anyway, you can go look that up or tune in to Business Security Weekly. We'll cover that in a little more. Imperva's, of course, got Encapsula, Secure, Sphere, and Counterbreach. Is Counterbreach their what is that? Is that their?
I thought that was their kind of incident response automation platform.
Okay. Yeah, there's a lot of products under their portfolio. I mean, they're known for their WAF, right? But I mean, WAF is essentially.
Sure, I think there's some user behavioral analytics and Counterbreach as well.
Okay, I think they have DDoS protection in there as well, right? From Imperva. Yep. So yeah, there's a few different solutions under their portfolio.
So many Israeli companies today. Just so many Israeli companies today.
Yes. So that's the acquisitions and funding that I had. Just a couple stories there. I want to talk about CyberArk bringing privileged session management to the cloud. I think CyberArk continues to make some really smart moves.
About goddamn time.
You've been waiting for that feature, John?
Yeah. Let's just say that we have a lot of customers that say, well, yeah, you got us in the cloud, but if we had CyberArk in the cloud, you wouldn't be able to have done what you did. It's like, well, it's not there. So now it is.
I think you said before you see CyberArk quite a bit.
We do. CyberArk is actually one of those tools. I think some people even in SpectreOps said it's one of the products that does work whenever you're actually doing pen testing and your internal lateral movement. CyberArk properly implemented is a thing to be dealt with.
Awesome. So let's see. Tomorrow night, someone from CyberArk's coming on, but to talk about Conjure, which is their secrets vault and capabilities that they have there. They've got an open source and commercial product there. They made an acquisition to get that technology. John Walsh is his name, is coming on, and it's going to be it's going to be awesome. Basically, there's two different aspects there, right? I want security people to go to their developers and ask about secrets management, and if you get what is that? Well, then you got to tackle that problem together. If you get, well, like we're using this other thing, and you'd never heard of it before, dig into what they're using, because it's one of those things that can easily lead to a breach, right? If you've got credentials inside your code or embedded inside your application, as John can tell you, that can be discovered by attackers for sure, and it's kind of an easy way. So you got to manage your credentials, and that can go across multiple, different perspectives of which credentials, you're managing inside your applications, especially important in DevOps. CyberArk has a really great solution for that, and it's open source. So if you're a security person and you got your own personal project and you're like, well, I want to try that out. I need to manage my credentials in my own project. Let me try it first. That's my suggestion. Use it, and then go have the discussion with your developers with a little bit of knowledge and experience under your belt. John?
Yeah, one of the worst things that we've ever seen in this area is this would have been about 2 years ago. We were testing an organization, and we did a standard port scan, and I looked at the banners that came back. And this one banner came back with this random string that was about 27 characters long. And we're like, what the hell is that? And we kept on messing around with it. And it turns out, you want to say it was an API key, but what it really was a password. So whenever an application was trying to access another API, it needed that password. So the developer just put it on a high port, like port 45,000 or something like that. And it would grab that from that port, and then it would use it. It was such an absolute disaster, and he got very frustrated with us. He's like, "You guys weren't supposed to find that." But yeah. We will find your credentials if you're not using them correctly.
If you're struggling with that, conjure.org/Security Weekly. Go there. Again, free. You can download the open source version. They've got a tutorial on there, and we'll be talking about it in detail tomorrow night on Security Weekly. BlackBerry looks like it's trying to make a security play, John. They keep coming up in my news.
Yeah, we talked about this IoT last time. Is that it again?
Yeah, another there it is. An article about BlackBerry and the importance of securing the IoT future. So this is one to keep an eye on. Again, I don't have a whole lot of details as to what they're doing with IoT. I did hear back from listeners that did say BlackBerry does have an IoT offering. So we'll certainly report back with more information. There is an article in the show notes that you can check out. So I think we're done talking about BlackBerry with the phone and the whole transition. We're now talking about BlackBerry as an IoT security company. I'm happy to make the transition. I don't want to talk about how BlackBerry used to do phones anymore either. So we'll talk about their new offerings. Yeah. It's a pivot. I mean, that's a big pivot.
That's a big pivot.
In a big company to be pivoting.
We used to make phones, but now competitive horse racing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you think about it, it's not that much of a stretch. A phone, you could consider that an IoT device. So,
absolutely.
Yeah, exactly. Trend Micro is converging EDR and endpoint security protection.
This, by the way, this is something that we need. Oh God, every single product out there for endpoint, they have their endpoint security platform and they have their EDR platform, and just converge the damn things. They shouldn't even be two separate. What's the difference?
So one's detection and response, and one is security. Is protection?
It's so muddy. And if you talk to any of them, they're always like, "It's not muddy at all. It's detection and response." Like like a Carbon Black detects and tells you exactly what executable invoked what process and did these following things. Versus like a heuristics or an artificial intelligence based platform for trying to detect malware. It just get it done and just integrate the two already. It's insane.
I like calling it endpoint security because then I'm covered.
There right? You go. It's an endpoint security product, and I think it's going to quickly get to the point. If you are an endpoint security product and you don't have EDR and standard heuristics and artificial intelligence type, you're going to be missing out on a huge part of the market.
And speaking of that market, Carbon Black and SecureWorks, continue to work together by applying Red Cloak Analytics to Carbon Black's predictive security cloud.
And I gotta admit, I haven't had a chance to look at Red Cloak Analytics in very much detail at all. So
that's the SecureWorks product, correct?
It is, but I'm wondering if that's like a competitor with Red Canary.
I mean, there could be some overlap there between.
We'll have to ask
between
Phil
the
Hagen.
two.
He would know for sure.
Sure. I know there's some other stories in there. Data migration for blockchain platforms. So you're giving a talk about blockchain. I'm seeing this more and more. I mean, in the past couple of months, John, I think blockchain has, while it's being abused by marketing, and I think there's other companies that are tied to cryptocurrency that are coming on the security radar. And I'm like, yeah, currency is one thing, but application of blockchain to security and the integrity of your data and whatever you're trying to protect, certainly in a data migration, the word data migration and blockchain in the same title now makes more sense to me than it did a couple months ago. So,
do you want to see something embarrassing?
Yes.
Okay, I should be sharing my screen. This is the outline of a blockchain class that I'm running.
That's awesome.
So it's not like a full SANS class at all. I don't even know if it's going to be a one-day class. I just have some customers that wanted me to write something on blockchain.
Sure.
And
that's how a lot of good things start. Like when your customers ask you to do something and they're paying as part of a paid engagement, and you're researching, and you're like, wow, I could go take this and do more things with this content, right? So
and the other thing that I'm looking at right now, if we're moving forward, is blockchain is a thing. I don't think that it's going to protect or shut down all IT and change it in radical, scary ways, but it is a thing. And it is absolutely going to be something that every security professional has to reckon with. So right now I'm leaning towards this class being free and just providing it maybe to the Security Weekly family and doing it that way. But seriously, folks, you need to look into it. But also with that, going through and doing some research and trying to develop a class associated with blockchain, I have no clue at all what SyncSort is talking about here at all. I read the article. I went to their website. I read it, and I'm lost. I call me an idiot. That's fine. But seriously, I have no idea what they're talking about.
So I too am struggling to find a company that is applying blockchain to IT and security, IT and or security, right? That I can meet, like the companies that come in that have blockchain in there. I'm like, what are you? I don't understand. And then they're doing an initial coin offering and stuff, and I get really confused as to what that is. Like, I really want to take a briefings. So if our listeners know of companies that they're hearing about, I really want to take a briefing or series of briefings with blockchain security companies that are actually solving problems or are on the path to solving problems. If you know those, I want to do a briefing. I flagged a couple. They haven't bubbled up to the top of my list yet to reach out to them, but I do have some in the queue. If you know of them, I want to talk with them.
Well, and right now, if you look at the plays, Red Hat, VMware, and a couple of other very, very, very big players in that space, they're actually developing infrastructure and architectures for blockchain. And I know what they're doing. Like they're creating basic platforms for doing like Masternode, for doing verification of transactions, because that's a big deal.
Big deal.
Like if I were to send you, let's say, 2 Bitcoin, it goes out on the ledger, not the general ledger, but it goes out on the hyperledger, and then it goes to a node, and then it's going to get passed up to a master node, and then it has to be verified. Basically, make sure that all the hashes and the digital signatures are working all the way up the chain, and usually it has to be verified by like 6 different entities. And right now, what you're seeing in blockchain, and specifically for like Bitcoin or Ethereum, is it's taking a long time for those transactions to actually be verified. So developing additional technologies to speed that process up makes sense to me, because the master nodes that are doing the verification, they actually take a fee for actually doing that, and you can pay more for your transaction to go through faster. So there's things that make sense whenever you're talking about things going on the ledger, things being validated on the ledger, and technologies that make sense. But in this situation, I read this 3 or 4 times, and I still have no idea what the hell they do.
There is a story in there about ShieldX. I had not heard of ShieldX before. Matt Alderman might be able to shed some more light on it. But they're calling it an elastic security platform. apparently what they are is a Docker container-based data center security solution. They claim they're using advanced machine learning to determine intent in helping you secure your containers. They've got a good amount of funding. They raised $34 million in venture funding to date, and will be one that is on my radar. So if you're looking for container security solutions, one you might want to consider. Along with,
this also,
of course,
this also goes back to microservices and isolation and zero trust. Now, as far as whether or not they can determine intent, it's kind of a big play there, I guess. But
sure.
I don't know. I'd have to see it to make a better determination.
And Avast had some kind of announcement about phishing attacks or something like that. I didn't get.
That was artificial intelligence for identifying phishing attacks. So that was kind of neat. That's actually one area where machine learning can be very, very, very helpful
with phishing,
for identifying outliers in email attacks coming in. So that one doesn't sound quite as stupid as it sounds on the face of it.
Yeah, I mean, I think we need to separate machine learning and AI there, right? Like machine learning can help do the heuristics and analyze. It'd be interesting to have an artificially intelligent email box that maybe is responding to phishing attacks and doing stuff, which I'm sure someone's probably tried or is bringing to market. So I think AI and machine learning apply differently to phishing, but could be useful in both cases.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, that is the enterprise security news for this week. Thank you, everyone, for listening and watching. Thank you, John. And that will conclude the show for today. See everyone next time.